Jai Shri Krishna. So today, since Moon is in Satabhisha and in conjunct with Rahu, I'm going to touch a lot of information about snakes. Okay, the Ashta Nagas at a very high level, but deep dive into the 5 snakes that are considered extremely auspicious in Hinduism. Okay, and sacred as well. All right, before we start, the 3 things I'll just quickly go over. One is, do click the subscription button, the bell button as well, so that you're notified with the latest and greatest videos I publish. 2 is, do share your comments and feedback at the session, the comments column as well. And 3, I teach weekly sessions in Clubhouse, Wednesday 7:20 p.m. Central Time, and live sessions on Vedic astrology. Do join if you're interested to learn Vedic astrology. Plus, there are 4+ years of recorded audio sessions in Clubhouse with a lot of information I've given. Yeah, so you have to download the Clubhouse app. iOS, Android, both of them has it, and you have to enroll yourself in the Vedic Astrology Club, and all of it is free. All right, so today's topic, we are going to quickly go over into the first is touch the Ashta Nagas. Who are the Ashta Nagas? The Ashta Nagas, Ashta means 8, right? We have like Ashta Lakshmi, same thing, we have Ashta Nagas, right? So the Ashta Nagas is, number 1 is Ananta, who is also called as Sheshanag, Shesha Anantanag, etc. Vasuki, 2, Takshaka, 3, Kargotaka, 4, Padma, 5, Mahabhatma, 6, 7th is Shankapala, and 8th is Gulika. Okay, we use a lot of Gulika also in Vedic astrology, who is kind of considered as Saturn's child. Keep that aside. Okay, now we are going to go deeper into the 5 snakes, right, or 5 types of snakes, which is considered extremely sacred in Hinduism. Okay, this is very important, and snakes also caused birth and rebirth in a way. And you know that when you have Rahu in or Ketu in certain houses, 1, 5, 9, right, 12th house, 2nd house, 7th house, 8th house, Rahu or Ketu, and they're also with multiple planets, right? And the most important thing is, anything other than the 3rd house, 6th house, 10th or 11th, if Rahu or Ketu is there, it's a problem, and they should have a benefic aspect. If they have a malefic aspect like a Saturn aspect, it's not good. Mars aspect, not good. Conjunction with Saturn, conjunction with Mars, not great. Yeah, but again, even conjunction with Jupiter or Venus also not good. The aspect of Jupiter is really good for Rahu or Ketu. Okay, all right. So before we dive deep into the subject, we'll also touch again the same thing which I had mentioned in another video, but I want to make it, I'm very clear about it, is Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna's, in chapter 10, clearly puts a distinction between the Sarpa and the Naga. He says that among the Sarpas, I am Vasuki. This is in chapter 10 or verse 1028. And he says among the Nagas, I am Ananta, which is in 1029. In Bhagavad Gita, if you want to see that. Okay, all right. Now, Vasuki himself is considered as a Naga, but he also holds a very like a dual title, right, across Hindu Vedas and Puranas, right? He is also called the king of the Sarpas in the Bhagavad Gita, while he's also the king of the Nagas in the Puranas. Okay, I always hold the Bhagavad Gita and the Vedas a little bit up than the Puranas. Okay, all right. Now, before we go deep, we have to understand a little bit of the basics here, right? In Hinduism, we use the word rather called Brahman or Parabrahman. Okay, the story goes when Adi Parashakti, right, Parashakti, the Parabrahman, right, when the creation was made visible, she kept a force behind the invisible creation, which is the invisible one, which is herself, her energy. That is always the reason the souls are all the same, meaning there is a karmic journey involved. No soul is a bad soul, nothing is bad. It is the mind. The moon in a way comes into the play. Okay, so coming back, right, the core foundation of what is behind the visible layer is called the Brahman or the Parabrahma, right? And snakes were considered as very important as part of the protector of crops and water resources. They come from the boon which was got by Kadru, who is a daughter of Daksha Prajapati, right? And she was married to Maharishi or Saptarishi Kashyapa. Yeah, so that is the most important thing, right? Now they were seen guardians of the underworld and also hidden treasures. In one of the video I mentioned about the 6 walls of Padmanabha Swami door as well in Kerala, where one of the door is still unopened and it's actually protected by a snake. This is the fact. My grandma had told this to me, which was told to her by her grandmother and her great grandmother. So we are going back, generations before. All right. What is a snake? You have to understand it before we go into the 5 sacred snakes. Snake represents infinity. Okay. Time, energy, fertility, protection. And it's a cosmic balance. Think about the story goes that our whole earth, right? The earth itself is balanced by Adisesha. Okay, that is where the earth is being even held, right, by Adisesha, which is so important. Now, many cultures had always, feared about serpents versus Hindu culture, right? Hindu religion worships serpents, right? They say there is no beginning or no end for a serpent. This is the most important thing. Now, Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva also are associated with serpent, right? Think about this way, that Shiva rests in Sheshanag. Vishnu rests in Sheshanag, Anantnag, and Shiva has Vasuki around him, right? So understand, same Vasuki was used in Samudra Manthan. Okay, so the serpent, right, it symbolizes many things, right? Time, rebirth, even rebirth, right? Hidden knowledge, the Kundalini energy. Okay, some of the things I say may be repetitive, but I am trying to say that because I'm trying to bring the importance of the serpent energy. Okay, and that is where the connection is. All the serpent the nakshatras of the Rahu Ketu is always in male rashis, right? That is where they're connected. So Aries, you've got Ashwini, which is Aries male rashi, Ashwini Ketu nakshatra. Then you have Gemini male rashi, you have Rahu Ardra nakshatra. You have Leo Simha, again male rashi owned by Sun. You have Maga Ketu nakshatra. And then you come to Libra, you have Swati nakshatra owned by Rahu. Then you come to Sagittarius, you have Ketu nakshatra here, which is Mola. Then you have Kumbha, Aquarius, where you have Satabhisha nakshatra owned by Rahu, and today is Satabhisha, Moon at Satabhisha with Moon conjunct with Rahu. Okay, so this is very important for you to know. All right. Okay, so again, it's important for you to understand that it's associated with fertility and pregnancy. Okay, so if you're not able to get pregnant or something, or deliver a child, or child keep on getting birth and death happening, right, for whatever reason, premature death, etc., right, it's associated with Rahu Ketu, back to back. Okay, so do remember this. Even the water, right, where the child is held in the mother's womb, right, that is also important, and Rahu Ketu will block that. Okay, and even the protection of the land, fertility, right, agriculture, right, this is so important for you to understand. The snake is not evil by nature. It will never harm you unless you have done something wrong, or it is the karma to come and bite you because you've done something in your previous birth. Okay, it's an energy which needs guidance and balancing. Okay, so always remember, the snake can be only defeated by a mongoose and an eagle. Eagle is like Garuda, which is a Vishnu thing as well, and then a mongoose. Okay, Naga Panchami is very auspicious. Typically, Sun is in Cancer, the Naga Panchami will come, and Panchami Tithi, the fifth Tithi, whenever Sun is in Cancer. So very soon when it will happen when Sun is in the Sankranti of Cancer to Leo, and Moon is in Libra in Swati Nakshatra. So do not miss out the Naga Panchami. Alright, so now we'll touch the 5 types and the divinity as well. The first is the Anantanag, Sheshanag. He's a Naga, he's the king of the Nagas, okay, as the endless cosmic serpent. Lord Vishnu himself rests upon it's like a 1,000-hooded serpent, okay, Anant Shesha in Kshirshagar, the ocean of milk, okay. It depicts stability, and then there is also a cosmic motion, okay. It supports, the Sheshanag supports the whole universe, okay, and even it holds the planets and the universe and the whole ecosystem on his hoods, okay. Shesha is called as Adi Shesha, which is also Astrology Nakshatra energy. We also know Lakshman, Balraman, all associated with this nakshatra. So Ananta means endless, okay. Shesha means what remains, okay. And the Ananta Shesha, right, Anantanag, right, they together signify the eternal foundation, which is like more like even after the pralaya happens, the cosmic dissolution happens, okay. All right, second is Vasuki, okay, Vasuki. So if you see, right, all the snake energies you will see in many of the nakshatras, specifically Rohini nakshatra, you will see Rahu nakshatras, Ketu nakshatras, you will see Kanya Rashi, Virgo Rashi itself has it, Anuradha nakshatra, you will see Uttara Bhadrapada, you will see Ashlesha nakshatra is the prime, right? Lot of the snake energy you will see. Even though among the 27 nakshatras there is some snake energy, among the 12 rashis there is some snake energy intertwined, that at a very high level. Okay, coming back is Vasuki, number 2, right? He is called the serpent of cosmic churning, and the story goes back to the Samudra Manthan, okay, the churning of the ocean. The Devas and the Asuras, right, used Mount Mandara as the churning rod, and Vasuki like a rope, right, and they pull to and fro in a way, and that is where first the poison came, which is Halahala, which was taken by Lord Shiva, right, and Parvati had come and hold the neck in a way, so that's why he becomes Nilakanta, right, and then eventually so much treasure came, so many things come out, and then the Amrit Mohini also comes out, right, Vishnu avatar here, right. So Vasuki's involvement here, right, symbolizes sacrifice and kind of coordination, cooperation, and support in this whole cosmic process, right. Vasuki takes a place in Lord Shiva's neck, right. So he signifies kind of the so-called fear and death in a way, okay, the destruction energy as well, that is a part, but there is also fear, there is also the Amrit energy which he has helped, okay. So first is Anant Sheshanag, second is Vasuki. Anant Sheshanag is with Vishnu, okay, Vaikuntha, Shirsagar, okay. Second is with Lord Shiva is Vasuki. Third is Takshaka. He's a very powerful Naga king. Okay, the story goes, and he's associated with the lineage of the serpent, okay, which is the Nagas specifically, who are semi-divine, right, and they live in a place called Nagaloka. Okay, the Takshaka story, I'm sure many of you would have heard of this, is connected with King Parikshit, whom Lord Krishna in Mahabharat, right, revives using Ashwatthama's money in the womb of Uttara. And you know, Uttara is Abhijit's, I mentioned Abhijit, my mistake. Uttara is Abhimanyu's wife actually. Abhimanyu is Arjuna's son. I don't know why I mentioned Abhijit in the slip of the tongue. My apologies. So Parikshit, right? And Krishna revives him and calls him Abhijit. I mean, again, my mistake. Krishna revives him and call him Parikshit. It's just that it's kind of rhyming and timing, right? And gives him the name Parikshit. Okay, And then there is a so-called famous Sarpasatra, okay, which was a full snake sacrifice which was performed by a king called Janmajaya. That story comes in Mahabharata, okay. And they killed literally the entire snake kingdom and family. Somehow Takshaka survived, and he was there to take the revenge over, I have to say it correctly, revenge over King Parikshit. Okay, if you go to the so-called Krishna temple, not Olaganatha Perumal temple, Pandavatuda Perumal temple in Kanchipuram, you will see Lord Krishna sitting in a big pose with all his nails and stuff manicured and pedicured. And that whole temple is built around Rohini Nakshatra. And the story goes where Parikshit was going on a pilgrimage, and suddenly he slept in the night and it was too late. And then he was asking a lot of questions about, what happened in Mahabharata, etc. And why did not Lord Krishna, come and act as a messenger to stop the war, etc. So he got all the so-called vision and everything of the Mahabharata story itself. Yeah, so it's a beautiful place to go. Okay, so the Nagas, right, coming back, Takshaka, including Takshaka, they are the guardians of treasures, jewels, any kind of treasure, think of it, right? Any kind of treasure, and even sacred rivers. Okay, so that is the number 3. 4th is Kaliya. Kaliya is the serpent of Yamuna. And we know that story in Mahabharata where Krishna himself had a big dance over Kaliya, right? So if you have to read Bhagavad Purana, okay, and it comes as Kaliya comes as a multi-hood serpent who lives in the Yamuna river, right? His venom is poisoned, and his venom is completely poisonous and poison the water, disrupting life around it. Okay, so the Lord Krishna eventually subdues Kaliya in his transformation. That is where if you see Krishna dancing on top of a snake, right, that is Kaliya. There is one more Rohini Nakshatra temple which is around the Kaliya energy as well. Kalingeshwara, one of the temple names, I think Kalingeshwara temple. And I could be wrong, I'm trying to recollect it, but yeah, Kalingeshwara temple, yeah, that is Rohini Nakshatra temple also. So Krishna danced upon the serpent's hoods, eventually sparing him, okay, after he surrendered. Why is this auspicious? Because it's associated with the Yamuna river bank. Yamuna is considered very auspicious. The last one, right, is Manasa Devi. Manasa Devi is kind of considered as a sister to Vasugi. Okay, it is the cult of Naga worship. Okay, now she is the serpent goddess worshipped especially in eastern India, mainly around the West Bengal region, the Calcutta side and stuff, right? She is associated with protection, right, against snake bites and fertility blessings also, right? So she may not be a serpent herself, but she is kind of connected with the Nagas because she is kind of considered as like a sister to Vasuki. Okay, so we spoke about the 5 sacred serpent and snake energies in a way, right? Naga, serpent energy, however you want to call it. Anancheshanag, Vasugi, Takshaka, Kaliya, and Manasa Devi. Yeah, I hope this was helpful, especially with moon in Satabhisha Nakshatra. Right, I've covered a lot about the serpent energy. I've done some basics about serpents in some other videos. Please watch them. Yeah, watch them multiple times. And if you have Rahu, Ketu, or serpent energy afflictions, I've done several videos. I will also do a video on Sarpa Samskara. Okay, so today, because it's Satabhisha and it's Rahu's nakshatra, I'll just say Rahu Gayatri and we'll call it a day. Okay, Ardhakaryam Mahaviram Chandraditya Vimartanam Simmika Garpa Sambodham Tam Rahum Pranamamyamam. Om Swarbanuve Namaha.